Hey, welcome to Common Sense Cafe with dynamic dialogue from the Brazen Brothers. You ready for some mic drop moment, some real rhetoric on current conditions? Common Sense Cafe. That's our opening today.
Yeah,
mic drop moments. How you like my jacket?
I like it.
So it's Camp Wilderness. It's our conference youth camp program, and my wife and I are both on the trustee board. I'm the chairman of the board of the trustees, and
that's down in Missouri, or
yeah, that's down in Missouri. So a plug for great youth programs and so forth. So what's going on in your world?
Oh Lord. Well, let's see. I took a nap just shortly ago, so maybe I may be
ready to go.
Yeah. Well, we were getting into a conversation, and right before we started, and I said, wait a minute, we've got to record this. So you hadn't finished giving me all the spill about it, but you're just very impressed with the IRS lately. So why don't you give us your experience?
Well, I'm just frustrated. First of all, if there ever was an entity that signifies that the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, it's certainly in the IRS. But
now make sure you don't mention my name in this video. I don't want them coming after me.
Yeah, Kevin Easton is the one. He's the one that does my taxes for me if anything wrong.
Oh no.
So this morning, I got 2 letters from the IRS last week. I put them on my desk at the end of the week. I said, well, next week that's on my agenda. I'm gonna take care of those. So first thing this morning, I came to my office and I was going to address these 2 letters. So I called the number on the first letter, and I began to talk with a lady concerning my personal account, and the issue was I called about a letter that said I owed $42 on my 2017 taxes. It's the first letter I ever received about it. Matter of fact, it doesn't say, last notice, anything like that.
Now, this wasn't one of those calls that said they were sending the sheriff after you.
No, I've had those recently too.
I have too. Yeah.
This is it's authentic, and I called the number. She gave me her, I wrote down her, the number that my reference number is blah 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 blah. So I wrote that down and everything, and so we began to talk, and I verified. Well, first of all, I was on hold for probably 45 minutes. Verified my information, and the first thing she says is, "Can I put you on hold for 5 to 7 minutes till I get your account?" And I'm like, "Okay." But then she asked me my address, and I told her my address, and it was on Nature Street. Well, somehow or another, on my taxes one year, the N was replaced with an M, Mature Street.
Oh my
goodness. And so she read me the right act about getting that changed, and I said, okay, I'll get that changed. I'm talking to her.
Huh? Lady, y'all know when I sneeze. You don't know where I live.
Yeah, right. I should have just said, listen, if y'all can't ever find me, just ask Facebook, Google. They both know all about me.
Everything. That's right.
So I'm talking to her, and she tells me what the $47 or $42 is all about, and it's about. She claimed that it was a penalty for not having insurance, health insurance.
Oh yeah.
For a certain length of time in 2017, and I'm like, I always have health insurance, and I said, I'm not going to argue with the IRS over $42. I'll just pay it. But what really upset me, I know this is petty, but she said it's a $38 charge and $4 and some odd cents for interest. And I said, well, this is the first letter I've ever received. And she said, well, I'm sure they let you know before. I said, well, look on my account. And she couldn't find where they had let me know before. So they failed to let me know. And then they charged me $4 for not letting me know. And so it kind of frustrated me. I said, well, it's $42. I'm going to pay it. You can't argue with the IRS. So then I said, okay, I've got to. Then the other thing is, I said, I need you to check on something else. Does my return show up? And she said, no. I said, well, I filed it back in March. And she said, yeah, well, I can see where we cashed your check in March, but it doesn't show that you filed your income tax. I told her, I said, well, how did I come up with how much I owed if I didn't fill out my forms? And I said, I sent it all in at the same time. So it's been like 7 or 8 months. Yeah. And so I'm frustrated with her already. And she said, well, we've not been open and blah, blah, blah. And I told her, I said, well, it's costing me money. And she said, how's it costing you money? I said, well, I didn't get my stimulus check, Everybody else walking around with a brand new TV, walking out of Walmart with 57-inch, 60-inch TV, and I'm sitting at home with nothing.
Yeah.
I ain't got no money because they won't file my income tax for me.
Now
so anyway,
so she thinks you just put a check in an envelope and put an IRS on it and send it to them.
I'm just taking I just didn't think they made enough last year, so I wanted to give them close to, and it's a random. I started sending 1,000, but I didn't quite have 1,000, so I just sent 944. So anyway, and she's kind of rude, about the whole thing, and then and finally, so then that was the second thing I had to talk to her about. So I filed in March. They still don't have my paperwork, so I said, well, I've got another piece of paperwork I want to talk to you about. And it's another letter I received about not putting the proper information on my W-4 form. It says I can be fined up to $500 civil penalty. And so I asked her about it, and she researches and comes back on and does that 5 to 7 minute hold again. And she comes back on and says, this is not a I wish I could remember exactly how she put it, but anyway. This is not a reviewable thing, or you can't get live assistance on this and what have you. And she said, that's something you just had to go to IRS. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, the letter has a phone number and it has a department, and it's the withholding compliance unit. I said, just transfer me there. Oh, I can't transfer you there. Okay. So I hang up with her, and I call the compliance department. I call them, and I'm on hold for an hour and 6 minutes. And the guy comes on, gives me his number. I wrote his number down. Nice guy. He was very helpful. I tell him the situation. He looks at it. He said, well, you didn't file your tax. I said, yeah, I did. And I explained it. He said, well, I see where we cashed your check. I said, yeah. And finally, he says, oh, just ignore that letter. Now, wait a minute. Are you speaking on behalf of the entire IRS, or is this just me and you talking? Yeah. I want to kind of know, because I don't want to be sitting here saying number 10032656117 told me, and they're like, there is no such number. So I asked him, and he says, just ignore it. Everything will get straightened out when we finally find your taxes.
I bet that his wife is the one that works for the IRS, and she's working from home. He just took over for her for a little while.
Yeah, she had to go to the bathroom, so he came in and took over. And so, so here my whole, I'm probably going to go to jail next week over all of this. And so I get a little frustrated. Literally from about 9:15, 9:30 this morning, I was on the phone with the IRS from that time till 11:58 when I took my lunch break. So my entire morning, I tried to do some emailing and stuff, and I would get a phone call on my cell phone. I have to swap over and put the IRS on hold. And I'm praying the whole time that they don't come on while I'm on the other line. But there were some calls I had to take. So I get through with the whole thing, and I'm frustrated. And while I'm waiting, and so I began to do a little research.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me. Cindy, my girlfriend, is. We've had similar experiences lately. Now she's down in Mississippi, and she filed. The state of Mississippi owes her 2 years of refunds, just over $1,000 of refund, and she's been on the phone with them for hours and hours, waiting on hold mostly, and still can't get it resolved. Now they owe her $1,000, but you know what? They owe me. They called me. I didn't call them. They called me. Told me that I didn't sign my tax return, so they're going to send it to me, and if I'll sign it and send it right back, they'll get me my $59 they owe me. I meant to keep that phone number and let Cindy call that lady and say, hey, all right. Yeah. I even started to tell her, said, hey, I know. Can you tell me about Cindy's report?
Hey, so
talk about somebody else.
Yeah, right. I love it when they tell you, well, just go to the IRS page and go to where's my refund.
Oh yeah.
Of course, that's the federal government.
That's
according to my calculations, they charged me $4 and some odd cents for 2 years worth of interest on $38. And if you total that up over a 2-year span, it's about a 10% interest. You tell Cindy she needs to charge them interest on her money. It doesn't work that way. And
no.
I mean, literally, it should. If you prove that they kept your money when they shouldn't have, they should have to pay you interest.
So, yeah.
Well, it wasn't a good experience, and it frustrates me.
Just before we stopped and said, "Hey, let's record this," you were telling me you were asking how many people work at the IRS, or what? Are you talking about?
So I was curious if I'm on hold that long, and my taxes, it's taking them 6 months, 7 months now to locate my taxes. And they still haven't located them and to process my taxes. I wondered how many people are up there. And so I wondered how many people, full-time employees, work for the federal government in the IRS department. And I thought, well, I don't know exactly what an astronomical amount of people being employed would be. But before I tell you, how many people do you think does Facebook employ? Let's see.
Facebook?
Yeah, let's just do some research right quick.
Okay.
How many people? I need an Alexa or a Siri or whatever. Because Facebook's a pretty good sized organization, right?
Yeah. Let me see it. You got it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Go ahead, tell me.
So. Now Facebook is worldwide.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Facebook is worldwide. Let's see here if I can.
I know it is because I get a lot of invitations from.
Yeah. That's right. So
countries.
What is I wonder what the annual budget would be for Facebook.
I don't know. How many people work for them? Did you find that out?
Yeah. Okay. So 44,000 people work for Facebook. That's a huge organization.
Yeah.
And there, let's see if I can see it. It doesn't necessarily. Yeah.
40,000 people.
44,000 people work for Facebook. I was trying to find
3,000 of them are there to make sure Republicans don't publicize on their page.
Yeah, right. huge company. They're handling information constantly. I mean, it's just this huge, and it's growing like, unbelievably. It's just exponentially. So compare them to the IRS. The IRS employs almost twice as many people. It employs 75,000 people.
My goodness, 75,000 people.
If I'm not mistaken, if I remember this correctly, $11.8 billion annual budget for those salaries and everything.
And you think about it, that's just the people at the IRS. Okay, then you have all of the people that work in that industry preparing taxes and accountants that keep up with that. And do you think that could have something to do with why we don't go to a simple tax plan?
Well, sure. Because
jobs lost.
Yeah. So I was thinking about the whole thing, but 75,000 people, and this is full-time employees. This is not the part-time employees they hire during
seasonal,
the peak months.
Yeah.
So, 75,000, $11.8 billion budget or whatever. So before, now listen to this, before we can begin to have a profit in taxation, before we can begin to have a profit in any taxation, we have to raise $11.8 billion to pay for the people who are going to count the taxes and sort the taxes and make sure that we all filed the right amount of taxes.
Yeah.
So $12 billion has to be raised in taxes prior to us even beginning to break even in the tax world. So yeah, flat tax. I mean, it seems to be a smart thing. Let's go with a percentage and stick with it, and know.
Yeah, a lot of people be out of a job with it.
That's right. But I'm okay with it growing incrementally as your income grows too. I'm not saying everybody in the world pays 9%. I think was it Kane?
Yep.
That ran for the presidency on the Republican ticket. He came up with 999.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that either, because his 999 was a federal. I think it was a federal sales tax as well.
Yeah.
9% federal sales tax, which means the people who spent the most money would pay the most money.
Yeah.
Because of the federal. I don't have the solution for our tax woes, but I just know what we have right now is creates a $12 billion deficit at the beginning of each year before we ever collect a dime of taxes. So.
Well, I had a similar situation this week. Last week and this week, trying to get my Tennessee driver's license. It took me 3 trips to the DMV to get my license. And I won't say it was all their fault, but the information on the website was different than the information they wanted at the facility. And then, and those people, they just work so fast,
Yeah.
It's just a typical experience with the DMV. But, it made me think, people have said this before, but now this is what the government does when when they're in charge of your taxes, and how inefficient it is. Takes ever to get in touch with somebody. When you do get in touch with them, they don't really know what you're needing.
Right.
Their system, one system doesn't talk to the other system, so they don't know, what you've done. Same thing with DMV. It's so inefficient.
It's government ran programming.
Government program. So you think it's the more programs we give to the government, the better we're going to be? Health care or anything. Just
Okay, I got to go off on health care. Let me go off on my health care thing real quick. I know I got to be quick, but I'm going to go off on my health care thing. I love this thing where people right now are talking about how that the Affordable Care Act is in jeopardy, especially with the justice that they're trying to appoint.
Right.
And let me just go on record saying I think she is academically brilliant. I think she's judiciarily constitutional, and I think she has a lot of personal integrity. So I'm all for that's the kind of people we want on the Supreme Court.
Right.
But let me just say that the Affordable Care Act is not affordable, and so I'll tell you 2 reasons it's not affordable. Very quickly. First of all, I'm speaking from experience because I personally buy insurance through the marketplace. Okay, and I have since 2016. So in 2016, I changed, and I no longer had employment insurance, employer insurance. So I had to purchase my own insurance. I bought my own insurance, and this is the first full year, I believe, or maybe second full year that the marketplace is up and going. I bought a great policy. I think it was like $500 or $600 a month. I think, well, it must have been double that because Kim and I both were on it. So it was probably about $900 a month. I have some offsetting finances through my employment now. I'm self-employed, but there's some employment benefits that I get that help offset that. And then there are governmental, the government gives you a tax break or a monthly, based on your taxes, they give you a monthly stipend to help cover that. So the first year was good. I had good policy. At the end of that year, the company that I was with said, we're not going to offer marketplace insurance next year. So I had to find another company. So in October, I have to find another company. I have to take the next 2 months, find another company, sign up. And I do, and it raises my my premium by about $300, $350. I'm with them until October of 2017, at which time they sent me a letter and said, we're no longer going to offer insurance through the marketplace. So now I'm down to one company that offers insurance in my area in the marketplace, right? Yeah. So now my premium has gone from about $900 for 2 of us. My wife subsequently got her own insurance to a different methodology, and then so I'm just purchasing insurance for me. My premium is, I think, $1,250 a month. That's my premium. And again, whether I pay that or just let's say I pay that, well, $1,200 a month to me is not affordable health care.
No, that's not affordable at all.
On top of that, I have copay. I have what do you call it? Where you know, a certain amount that I have to pay before they're going to kick in and cover.
Right.
So I've got all of those things. So to me, that's not sustainable, affordable health care. But let's look at it on the other end. Let's say that I get a financial benefit from the government, and they're going to pay for my insurance, and that's what my stipend is going to cover, my whole $1,200-something. That's cheap, right? I mean, that's inexpensive. You can't beat that because it's free now. Wait a minute. It's not. Somebody's going to pay for my $1,200. It's still not affordable because there's no sustainability in it. Also, and I don't know, I posted something on our Facebook today about this. Each year, one year it went up. One company went up 42% on most of their policies. For the 3 years that I was, the first 3 years I was in it, it went up respectively, I think 20%, 9%, 11%, something to that respect. And so now we've got this absorbent amount that the premium cost, and as those premiums go up, the government or me, one of us, has to pay that increase. Yeah. It's not affordable. Here's the problem. Affordable health care comes when we begin to address the high price of health care, not high price of insurance, but what it costs when I see a doctor, what it costs when I have prescriptions filled, what it costs when I have a test run, what it costs when I have a procedure. Those things have to be addressed as well. Otherwise, it's nothing. See,
right.
Companies are not forced to participate in marketplace. I don't know if people know that or not. Any insurance company elects to be part of the marketplace. They're not. Now, the penalty's been removed. So the $50-something I had to pay from 2017, well, the Trump administration removed any kind of penalty, so you don't get penalized.
Well, we've got to come back to this topic because it's there's a lot we can talk about right here.
Yeah.
There's my medical advisor, healthcare advisor. She said that hospitals that take they monitor how much Medicaid and how many patients they have that are private pay or insurance, private insurance pay, or whether they're Medicaid, Medicare. It said that a hospital that has a predominant Medicaid, Medicare, government paid insurance or patients, they can't survive.
No, that's right. Yeah, but because Medicaid and Medicare says this is what we're going to pay, we're not going to pay anymore.
Right.
So it has to be made up somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Okay, we've got a lot stirred up today.
Yeah. We poked the bear today.
Yeah.
Those were some mic drop moments, man.
Now the IRS. Now I was happy with my experience this year. So
your $59 return, okay?
Yeah. So don't get upset. Well, I don't even know what I did with the federal.
You're just saying that in case they come back and hear this video. You want to be covered. I like you guys. Y'all my buddies.
I was audited a few years ago. It was a little nerving. I was about it, but I come out clear. So for the record, everything was fine.
Yeah. Well, I think there is an income level that you have to be audited, and it's like right here, and mine's like right about here. So I'm not too worried about auditing.
Well, they dipped low one year for me. Well, hey, let's get another video in tonight. So
all right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, those are the mic drop moments, the dynamic dialogue from the Brazen Brothers. That is the real rhetoric on current conditions. I'm Jeff.
Kevin.
Common Sense Cafe. Catch up with us. CommonSenseCafe.blog.
That's it.